So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the June 13th meeting, 2023 meeting of the Calvert County Board of Commissioners. At this time, I'd like to ask Pastor Berger if he would come forward and give us an invocation. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Will you pray with me? Good morning, God. We give you thanks for this day. This is the day that you have made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, we give you thanks that you have woken each of us up this morning, and we know that you have a purpose for each day that you bless us with. Lord, we give you thanks for those who serve. We give you thanks for our first responders, for the service and sacrifice that they make. Lord, we thank you for our troops and how they protect us and ensure that we have the freedoms that we have in this country. And may we never take those freedoms for granted. And Lord, we thank you for the blessing of being a part of this county here in Calvert. And Lord, I just pray for this commissioners meeting this morning, Lord, that you would bless each of the members of this board and for the meeting that is before us, that you would help give them the guidance and wisdom that they need to accomplish the business for the day. And Lord, that as a result of all of this, that you will receive all of the glory. And so that we may be in service to this county and accomplish the purpose you have for each of us. And so we thank you. We submit all of this to your will. And may you bless our country and our county. And we thank you and ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So thank you, Pastor Berger, and he comes to us from Smithville United Methodist Church in Dunkirk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda as presented?
Move to approve, Mr. President.
We need a second.
Can we get a second?
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public service announcements. I have several this morning. First of all, we want to pass along our condolences to Delegate Johnny Wood's family. Delegate Wood represented St. Mary's County District 29A for 7 terms from 1986 to 2014. I had the pleasure of working with Delegate Wood. He was a fine man. He was an old school legislator that worked across the aisle and was very active in his community and worked to get things done to better Southern Maryland. So his service was greatly appreciated, and we do want to extend our condolences to his family. Also, yesterday or day before, we lost Ronnie Terrell. Those of you outside the fire service probably don't know who Ronnie Terrell was, but Ronnie served in the volunteer system in Calvert County his entire life. Most of that time at North Beach, but recently was at Company 4 Rescue Squad in Prince Frederick, where he served as president. And we want to especially send our condolences out to his family and thank them for his service to this community. Tomorrow, June 14th, is Flag Day. We are going to celebrate the adoption of the Stars and Stripes as the official flag of the United States during the American Revolution in 1777. Also, tomorrow is the U.S. Army birthday. We have any Army vets out there? Okay, then we don't have to sing happy birthday.
Graduate of these schools.
Really? So it'll be the 247th birthday of the U.S. Army. So we want to make sure we thank our service members tomorrow that have served in their Army. And also this weekend we will be celebrating Juneteenth. Officially it's Monday, June 19th, but there will be a celebration at Jefferson Patterson Park on Sunday, June the 18th. I don't know the hours, but it's probably 11 to 4 or 5. 11 to 5. Thank you very much. And today is the last day of school. So we want to congratulate all those students and teachers and faculty and staff on a very successful year, and want to wish them a very happy summer session vacation. I think that completes all my public service announcements today. So that'll bring us to proclamation today. We have one for Juneteenth. Commissioner Ireland.
Okay, who do we have here for the proclamation? If you would come forward, introduce yourselves, and you can talk about the Juneteenth celebration. Now's your time.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Deborah Harris, and I'm the newly appointed president of the NAACP of Calvert.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's an honor for us to receive a proclamation for Juneteenth, which is now a federal holiday. It's an important event where we're celebrating freedom for all people. So Saturday at Jefferson Patterson Park from 11 to 5, we will have a great event. We usually average 1,000 people over, and so I invite everyone to come and celebrate this important event with us.
Thank you. Come forward.
Sheila Montague Parker.
Okay, I was in attendance last year, and it was very well attended.
Yes.
It really was. I won't be able to make it this year. I actually have a graduation party for my son. So I'll give you a heads up right now, I won't be there. All right, so I'm going to read the proclamation. Glasses on so I can read it. And it reads, whereas the Calvert County Board of Commissioners desires to recognize organizations that are dedicated to contributing to and improving the quality of life for citizens of Calvert County, as well as honor important events in our history. And whereas the Emancipation Proclamation legally freed enslaved Africans and their descendants throughout the United States in 1863. It was not until June 19, 1865, that Union soldiers, including United States colored troops from Calvert County, arrived in Galveston, Texas, and notified the last of the enslaved people that they were free. More than 250,000 enslaved people embraced freedom by executive decree in what became known as Juneteenth, or Freedom Day, which was officially recognized as a federal holiday in 2021. And whereas the Calvert County branch of the National Association of Advancement of Colored People recognizes the importance of this historically significant day, citizens are invited to celebrate at Jefferson Patterson Park Museum on June 17, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a fun day of activities, food, and music. The day will begin with a blessing of souls collected from various Southern Maryland locations that held enslaved people. The souls will be sent on a return passage to Ghana, Africa for a ceremony in August. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that appreciation and gratitude are hereby expressed to the Calvert County branch of the NAACP, and we invite everyone to join in the celebration at the Juneteenth Family Community Day on June 17, 2023, at Jefferson Patterson Park and Museum, St. Leonard, Maryland. Given under our hands and seal this 13th day of June 23, signed by all 5 county commissioners.
So and I do want to take this opportunity to thank Michael Kent, who was past president of NAACP for a pretty long time, I think.
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. So we want to thank Mr. Kent for his service.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That brings us to an award. Commissioner Ireland.
Chris, come forward. So Chris is our representative from Historical Society, and he's going to talk about this award, introduce himself and the family.
Hi, Christopher Sperling, Historic Preservation Planner. The Calvert Historic District Commission has organized a presentation of the annual Historic Preservation Award since 1989. The award recognizes outstanding achievements and excellence in protecting and preserving Calvert County's cultural heritage, Members of the HDC received one nomination for this year's award, which will be conferred currently. The Historic Preservation Award recipient for 2023 is the Rachel and Philip Cranford Project Award, Rehabilitation of the Morcell Victorian House. For people who know, this is on Route 4 on the right-hand side of the road as you're going north. It's a prominent hill, not too far from Pushaw Station. Mr. and Ms. Cranford are the current owners of CT 96, the state designation for the Morcell Victorian House, which is listed in the Maryland inventory as the Morcell Victorian House. CT 96 is perched atop a hill in a prominent spot on the landscape. Although it began life in the mid-1800s as a small house, it was enlarged in 1900 to the current 5-bay, 2-story floor plan. When the Cranfords purchased CT 96, it had been vacant for at least 20 years and in severe derelict condition. There were large holes in the roof, and it was hard to even discern that there was a house under all the poison ivy. Despite the challenges that house presented, the Cranfords saw a home that was worth saving and were unwavering in their pursuit of that goal. With Philip's knowledge of commercial construction and Rachel's clear vision, they saved important and distinctive features, including retaining decorative scroll-type design, shingle pediment, and restoration and reinstallation of historic lightning rods. Additionally, despite all but one being decommissioned, Philip and Rachel felt so strongly that the chimneys were in such an important detail for the overall symmetry and balance of the house that they kept them in place to celebrate the history of the home. For their efforts in the rehabilitation of the Morcell Victorian House, the HDC and Calvert County Board of County Commissioners recognized Rachel and Philip Cranford with the 2023 Historic Preservation Award.
Very nice. Philip and Rachel, would you come up and introduce yourselves, and anybody else would feel free to speak about the project?
So I'm Philip Cranford, and it's my wife Rachel. I would definitely like to thank Scott Montgomery. He was the visionary through all this. He helped us see what was behind the poison ivy. and my wife fell in love with the house, so that's really why it's here.
So you had to do it. There was no other choice, right? Right.
Yeah, and she was pregnant with her third child, so there was a little pressure. You know? But definitely a lot of family and friends all pitched in. It was a big undertaking with COVID and price increases, but we did it.
When people said we couldn't, we did it. So that's the big thing, I think.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, when you find a way.
Well, I was looking through the pictures, and you all did a lot of work. There's no doubt about that. You could almost see people saying that, I'm sure, but you proved them wrong, didn't you?
A lot of people told us just tear it down and start new, you know. She loved it, so.
I did. We still do. It's a beautiful home now. So.
Okay. You want to grab your daughter and come on up, and we'll present the award to you guys?
Perfect. Up on the mic. Chris, come on up.
I know what I'm doing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Good job.
I kid you not, I hear that because I can't even see it on a map. And so I was sitting there and I'm like, wish I could like, oh. Y'all take care now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to appointments. Deputy Director Salo? Administrator.
Good morning,
sorry.
Commissioners. Linda Vassallo, Deputy Administrator. You have 3 rounds of appointments this morning. The first one is for the Economic Development Authority. And staff is requesting that the board appoint Roman Matatoff and Julie Fuller to the EDA. And following those appointments, you'll have no vacancies.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we appoint Roman, man, I'm gonna mess this up.
Matatoff.
Matatoff, thank you. And Julie Fuller to the Economic Development Authority. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Your second round is for the Cove Point Light Station Commission, and staff is requesting that the board appoint Dr. Daniel Curry
Move
to the Cove Point Light Station, excuse me.
Move to approve.
Second. I have a motion and a second that we appoint Dr. Daniel Curry to the Cove Point Light Station Commission. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
All right, and your final round of appointments is for the Calvert County Marine Museum Board of Governors. The staff is requesting that Nancy Week and Thomas Rice be appointed. No vacancies will remain following that action.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second that we appoint Nancy Week and Thomas Rice to the Employee Recognition Committee. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing
Calvert-
none.
Calvert County Marine Museum Board of Governors, Commissioner.
Oh, there's a typo. I have a motion and a second that we appoint Nancy Week and Thomas Rice to the Calvert County Marine Museum Board of Governors.
Second.
Sorry.
Thank you. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. That brings us to consent. We have several items under consent today. Item 1, Department of Parks and Recreation Program Open Space Annual Program for fiscal year 2024. Item 2, Department of Calvert County Detention Center FY 2024 Edward J. Bryan Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Application. Item 3, Department of Finance and Budget Award Recommendation ITB 2023-029 Golf Carts and Utility Vehicles. Item 4, Department of Finance and Budget Award Recommendation RFP 2023-036 Public Safety Radio Communication System and Commercial Towers. Item 5, Office of the County Administrator, Zen City Digital Engagement Platform Budget Adjustment. Are there any objections to the items presented under consent?
None.
Hearing none, those items will be adopted as presented. That brings us to new business. Item 1, Department of Community Resources. Director Moreland, good morning.
Jennifer Moreland, Director of Community Resources. I have before you the subject, fiscal year 2023 on behalf of bonds program. Background. The Internal Revenue Code limits the amount of private activity bonds that may be issued in each state. Annually, the Maryland Department of Commerce, MDC, issues its private activity bond initial allocation, wherein it allocates the Maryland state ceiling among counties. Any allocation not used by September 30th, 2023 automatically reverts to the Secretary's Reserve on October 1st, 2023, unless it is transferred to another issuer or is used to issue private activity bonds. Calvert County Government's fiscal year 2023 housing bond allocation is $3,881,724, with a non-housing bond allocation of $1,663,596. Calvert County Government has received the annual invitation to participate in the On Behalf of Bonds Local Governments Housing Program, OBO. Under this program, the Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD, pools participants' housing bond allocations to fund housing programs or to issue mortgage credit certificates on behalf of the local government with county-based caps removed. The following is a breakdown of allocation versus actual usage over the past fiscal years. I'm not going to read that. You see it. Additionally, Section 13-804A of the Financial Institutions Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland requires each county to submit a report, approval in writing by its bond counsel, to the Secretary of the MDC with information regarding the amount and types of bonds issued pursuant to its total allocation. Discussion. To participate in the OBO program, a local government must transfer its allocation to DHCD in writing on or before June 15th, 2023. Fiscal impact, none. Conclusion recommendation, staff recommends that the Board of County Commissioners authorize the board president to sign attachment 1 and the letter to MDC. And you'll see there were 27 loans with 8.4 million, about 8.4 million that was done last year with the Maryland Mortgage Program, which we do a lot of referrals to the Maryland Mortgage Program out of our office, so it's good to see that it's being used in Calvert County. Do you have any questions for me,
Motion?
Sure.
Kevin?
Question? Hearing none.
Mr. President, I move we authorize the board president to sign the correspondence on behalf of the Board to transfer the county's allocation and participate in the on behalf of bonds local government's housing program.
Second.
Have motion and second that we authorize the board president to sign the correspondence on behalf of the board to transfer the county's allocation and participate in the on behalf of bonds local government's housing program. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Director.
Thank
Morrow.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioners.
So there are public hearings scheduled for 10:30. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, so I think we're going to have to go to the work session, which is Department of Planning and Zoning, Text Amendment 23-03, amendments to Calvert County zoning ordinance. Good morning, Director.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mary Beth Cook, Director of Planning and Zoning, and if it's all right with you, I'm going to forego reading the memo and jump right into the presentation.
That'll work.
So this work session is on Text Amendment 23-03, which is proposing to pause considering new text amendments while we're going through the zoning ordinance update. So due to the complexity of the rollout schedule of moving forward through the update to the Calvert County zoning ordinance, we're asking that the changes that come in as text amendments be processed as part of that process instead of handling them on a case-by-case basis. And so the changes for this text amendment would be to the zoning ordinance section 1-601. The Calvert County Comprehensive Plan was adopted in 2019 and then amended in 2020. Staff has been reviewing the zoning ordinance that was adopted in 2006 and working on updating the zoning ordinance since the comp plan started, which was several years before 2019. Staff has released the draft on the website and is ready for public comment. We're going to be doing a rolling schedule, discussing several chapters at a time, and have that for the Board of County Commissioners and Planning Commission discussion. Just to note, those initial meetings will be starting next week. We'll be having a public hearing on this text amendment, followed by a work session to talk about the major changes in the labeling of the zoning districts and the zoning maps. So this is kind of like a primer to get you started so that you're reading through the updated ordinance, you'll have more information. So we conducted a work session with the Planning Commission in April, and then the commissioners following that. So you have reviewed and we discussed a timeline, which we're going to be amending. It was really aggressive, and so we realized that we need to give people more time. We've kind of reorganized that, and that will also be discussed at next Wednesday's meeting with the Planning Commission. And so with the proposed text amendment, I want to read the language that we're adding. Notwithstanding the foregoing, all text and map amendment requests received after 4 p.m. local prevailing time on Wednesday, June 21st, 2023, which is the date of the public hearing, will be held in abeyance and considered as part of the drafting of the new Calvert County zoning ordinance unless the Board of County Commissioners finds that a request should be considered because it either corrects a mistake or is necessary to address public health, safety, or welfare. Requesters not subject to an exemption above will be afforded a period of 30 days after the effective date of the new Calvert County zoning ordinance to request revival of their request if not satisfied how it was addressed in the new zoning ordinance. So like I said, we want to take a pause while we're working through the zoning ordinance, address these text amendments as part of the zoning ordinance. And so that is kind of a little update and a prep for next week's public hearing, since you won't be meeting next Tuesday. Any questions for me?
I just wanted to make a comment. I'd really like to see, after the comp plan, and I was one of them who had a real problem with the comp plan. I'd really like to see us, as we go forward, and we put out any text amendments, I'd like for the public to be able to see what was there and what we're proposing now. I'd also like to see, more public comment, more public interaction than we had originally discussed. I
Yes.
think this is really big. This is the meat and potatoes of the comp plan, and the public really needs to have a voice with this. For sure, I've already gotten a lot of questions, a lot of angst, so I think if we step up our game, we can help alleviate that.
Yes, and so just to give you a preview of what's planned, we're planning to take the summer to do news flashes, get more information out, give people the opportunity to take the summer to read it while they're on vacation or doing what they're doing, and then regroup in September with opening up a comment period, having a public forum, keeping that comment period open for a week or so after the forum, after they've had an opportunity to talk, and then bring those comments forward to the commissioners and the planning commission. In addition, at any time during this process, if there's a group out there that wants us to come out and talk to them about it, we will absolutely do that. So that's the type of information we need to get out there. As far as the comparison, because it's a brand new, never before, I mean, we're not like crossing out and redlining. Staff has already, and you'll be getting a copy of this in your packet for next week, the first chapters that we've rolled out, we've done just a comparison, just like that, saying, okay, Article 3 was our zoning map, is now Section 2-2 in the new ordinance. So we did some references like that, as well as summarizing the major changes that have occurred. And we'll be doing that for every chapter, but so far we've got it for the chapters that we want to talk about initially. So thank you for that feedback, and we're on it.
One other thing, I would like for our last public hearing not to look this way. We have a public hearing, and then we meet, and then we approve everything. I'd really like to have more time for the public to come together, for us to make our changes, put it out there, give them maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then move forward. And I'd like to see it that way. I don't know how my fellow commissioners feel, but that's my opinion. Also, I was at a meeting last night, and I had somebody say, I get on my phone if somebody's stranded on the bridge. I'd like to see something that comes up and lets us know about these meetings. Do we have that in place?
I do believe that they can sign up to be notified anytime we
Okay.
make a change. So if you
Okay.
go to the zoning ordinance update page on the website, there's a notify me button. So
Okay.
anytime we make a change to that page, they'll be notified by email.
Okay, thank you, Mary Beth.
You're welcome.
So, Mary Beth, so to pause in the text amendments. So if this goes, so when are we going to have this concluded?
We can conclude it with the conclusion of the update of the zoning ordinance, or you could pick a time certain. You want to
Okay.
do it for 6
So-
months, 8
So
months.
let's just say it goes 2 or 3 months past that date. Is the text amendments going to stay with it or roll with that date of the conclusion?
So we're hoping to address them during the ordinance update.
Okay.
So initially, we said, we wanted to take a year, so it'd be April of next year. I think we're going
We do have
to,
that clause in there that says for public safety.
right.
we
So at
can-
any time the commissioners feel that it meets those criteria, we would absolutely process
We
it.
can process, okay,
Yes.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I do appreciate the wiggle room that's in the presentation before us today, because we were concerned about shutting the door for quite an expended period of time. And
Yes.
I think Commissioner Cox's point is that if that timeline were to be extended, then it's even longer, and
True.
there are certain things that, might need to be addressed. So we've got a little wiggle room in there that we can do something if we have to, but.
Yes.
And as Commissioner Grasso pointed out, we did get some comments about the process as it had first been presented, and you've taken those into account, made some changes, so we want to make sure that everybody understands that we're going to reset and restart, and don't feel like that it's, the process is, closed. Because originally the comment period had closed May the 20-something.
Right, and that was just to anticipate getting comments to the Planning Commission, the Board of County Commissioners. We've abandoned that. We just want to have an information session for everyone next week instead of already jumping into comments. We feel like you need a little more background information for you and the public.
Right.
So that's why we've taken a step back.
Because you say it is a whole new rewrite, but there are changes in there, and it was hard going through the document previously and determining what was new and what wasn't. You had to be pretty well educated on what's going on out there to know the difference. So
Sure.
we do appreciate that you're going to point out those differences and help guide people to see where we're going to end up. Because as Commissioner Grasso said, this is very important. The comprehensive plan is the vision, but this is the detail in the vision. So
Correct.
we need to make sure we get it right.
I
It
agree.
won't be perfect because we never are, but
We'll be doing text amendments a month later.
It'll be better.
It'll be better.
it'll be improved, we hope. So, and so yeah. Any other comments, questions?
No.
So we appreciate that changes, and we look forward to the next presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now we can hold a public hearing. It's official. Department of Public Works exercise purchase option 12025 H.G. Truman Road, Lusby, Maryland. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tom Jones. I'm Deputy Director for DPW of General Services. Today I'm here to read to hold a public hearing for the purchase of 12025 H.C. Truman Road. If you're ready, I'll just go right into the memo.
Yes, sir.
Background: on May 24, 2023, the Board of Calvert County Commissioners, BOCC, executed an option to purchase agreement with Dominion Coke Point LNG LP for 14.76 acres of unimproved property at 12025 H.C. Truman Road in Lusby, Maryland. Discussion: the property would enable the Solomons Volunteer Rescue Squad and Fire Department to be more centrally located within their response area. Physical impact: available budget of $920,000 for the purchase, plus ordinary and customary settlement are available in CIP 000048. Conclusion recommendations: the Department of Public Works recommends that the board authorize the president to exercise the option by signing the purchase and sale agreement on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners.
So just for the public watching, this property is located just south of Sneed's.
Yes, sir.
2 fields currently cropped by a farmer.
Yes, sir.
Was used by Dominion as a laydown area during construction. And as you'll note, it enables the Solomons Volunteer Fire Department to move north a few miles. And we did ask the fire department to do extensive community outreach to make sure the community knows that they're moving, and they've done that.
Yes,
And
sir.
so we greatly appreciate all the effort that went into that. Just want to make sure the community was aware of what was going on, didn't want anybody to be surprised. So here we are. Any questions or discussion?
I have a comment, but I can wait.
Sure.
I can wait till everybody's.
I'm good.
No, it's between 765 and Route 4, so it should give them good central location compared to where they are right now, so as well.
Yes, sir.
So this journey, and I'm going to call it a journey, wasn't easy. Seems like things never are sometimes. There's a lot of memories in that building. There's a lot of family history. That property and building means more than a whole lot of things out here. There's probably not a word or phrase can sum up what's in that building more than family. So when this came up, obviously it's controversial, like with any change. The members of Solomon's didn't waver. They knew they needed a facility that could handle the future, that they've outgrown, and that building is used, it's like there's an old expression, doesn't owe us anything. It's served the community for a long, long time. And as Commissioner Hance said, they were tasked with doing some things that, a lot of community outreach, which they did. There was, things don't happen quick in government, as everybody knows, and this project definitely was a personification of nothing was easy and nothing was quick. I am so thankful that we have got to this part of the journey. I believe everything is steps. Everything, and this is step one of, and I've always been very supportive of whatever the membership wanted. I said, guys, if you want to go to Montana, let's get to U-Haul. Let's go. Whatever Solomon's felt was going to be the best for the community, best for the membership, I'm all about it. And this was definitely a team effort. Everybody down there really worked really hard to get us to where we are today. And boy, it's just, thank goodness we're just here. This was a long time coming, and it's not done. I'll be happy when we're walking through the door of the new place. But this was a big, major step. I had people come to me and go, your pop-up would be rolling over. Let me tell you something. My pop-up loved the membership of Solomon's, the same as family. It was family to him. He would have wanted what was best for Solomon's in the community. I mean, his whole life was how to serve. I mean, even his last breath, he was involved with Solomon. So I had people try to throw a lot of guilt on me, and I would never do anything to ever disappoint him or the membership down there, and I truly believe that he would support Solomon's Firehouse with everything he had, and so I'm happy we're here. It's kind of sentimental and emotional to me in a way, and it'll be more so once we're done, but I want to thank everybody for getting us here, and just saying thank you. So, yes,
We
sir.
do have
So,
one
Public
person.
comment?
Yes, sir. We do have one person who's signed up to speak. Tom,
Tom.
if you want to call.
So the floor has been open for public comment on this hearing. If you wish to speak, please press *9, and please be patient until your turn to speak. Speakers will be identified by the last 4 digits of their phone number and unmuted one at a time. Speakers will be asked to state their name and address. Speakers who are providing comment as individuals will be allocated 2 minutes. Speakers who are the designated representative of a group will be allotted 5 minutes.
And we do have Mr. Terry Anderson has signed up to speak. Please come up to the microphone, identify yourself, and whether speaking as an individual or the designated representative of a group.
Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name's Terry Anderson. I'm speaking for the Solomon's Volunteer Rescue Squad and Fire Department. This process has been a very long process. We have worked closely with various departments within the county to get to this point. We have held multiple public hearings and had with various HOAs, multiple senior community centers, and even had an open town hall in our current facility. At each of those town hearings, we received overwhelming support for this potential move. We want to thank the county commissioners, the county staff, and the community during this process for listening to us and providing their support for this project. We look forward to working with you and staff for this project in the future. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
There is no one else who has signed up to speak, and caller 2590 has not raised their hand. So unless there's anybody else in the room on this public hearing, that's it.
So it appears we have no further public comment. The floor is open for a motion.
All right, Mr. President, it was my pleasure to make this motion I move that we recommend the board to authorize the president to exercise the option by signing the purchase and sale agreement on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
A motion and second that we close the record and exercise the option by authorizing the board president to sign the purchase and sale agreement on behalf of the board. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
You
guys.
got a piece of land.
Thank you.
Now comes the easy part.
Tom, you got a hammer in your truck? Box of nails, maybe?
So that brings us to public comment.
Thank you, sir. The board adopted a resolution in 1989 intending to maintain the order and decorum of the governmental process. Copy of that is found here to my right. The Ethics Commission has asked that we remind speakers of public comment that lobbyists include those who seek to influence public policy, and lobbyists must register in advance. Floor has been open for public comment, first from persons in the meeting room who may begin making their way to the microphone, then those joining virtually. All speakers are asked to identify themselves, and whether speaking as an individual, will you be allocated 2 minutes, or as the designated representative of a group, will you be allocated 5 minutes. For those attending virtually, if you wish to speak, please press star 9 or use the raise your hand function. Virtual speakers will be identified by the last 4 digits of their phone number or screen name and unmuted one at a time. Is there anyone in the room?
My name's Bob Estes. I'm speaking for myself, and I want to thank God for a little bit of rain. And I don't know how much you got, I don't know how much I got, but it was more than nothing. And I know for a fact that there are many people praying for this, because I've been in touch with them, and I know many people that decided to really water their garden, and then the rain came. So I'm very happy for that. But also, on a serious note, I want to thank Commissioner Hance for his speech at the weigh-in on Sunday. It was very inspirational, and he spoke his heart, and it hit mine, and I know lots of other people too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller 2590 has still not raised their hand, so I believe that is everyone. Oh, now the hand goes up.
Okay.
2590, we will either unmute you or you can press star 6 to unmute yourself. Please identify yourself and whether speaking as an individual or the designated representative of a group. Go ahead, caller. They have been unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, this is J.C. Calvert, and I'm representing the League of Women Voters. And I would like to thank Commissioner Grossa and Director Cook for their comments on reaching out more to the public. And I hope that the staff will definitely make a point to educate the public more on the process and give us time. I highly recommend that they actually have forums or presentations or PowerPoint for the county. And once again, in the future, when we have major issues like this, May is a major month for graduation, Mother's Day, and everything else there. And I would like for them to definitely consider the month of May is jam-packed with family things and other activities that distract us from keeping our eyes on the main issue that we are definitely want to participate in. And I do appreciate the entire Board of Commissioners making the consideration to slow this down so we can get the input back from the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the only virtual speaker, Mr. President.
Thank you. So that brings us to Commissioner reports. Commissioner Cox?
Thank you, Mr. President. This week attended Calvert graduation on Wednesday. Also attended Huntingtown's graduation on Thursday. And on Sunday, the Julie Rogers celebrated their 35 years in business. And we always hear the negative on our youth and kids and young adults, but it's glad to see the good in students and what they've accomplished throughout the years with these graduations, and I think a job well done with all 4 high schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Arlen?
Also attended Calvert, Northern, and Huntingtown graduations, and as Commissioner Cox said, to hear some of the speeches of the graduates was very, very rewarding, I guess to say the least. Superintendent Townsend's address focused on kids leaving school with a solid foundation. He gave them 5 pillars at the end of that, with the last one being make good decisions. Just trying to see him off into the future. I thought he did a very good job with that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Grasso?
Okay, I also attended Northern High's graduation, and Dr. Townsend did a very spectacular job. He's a very inspirational speaker. On the 9th, I attended the Humane Society's fundraiser bingo at the Elks Lodge, and I was amazed that the place was jammed with people playing bingo. I didn't win a darn thing, but
You're not supposed to.
I know. But people at our table won, so I was happy for them. And also on Saturday, I attended the Dragon Boat races in North Beach. Beautiful day. Wasn't as heavily attended as in the past, but it was a nice day. And then I, as well, was at the wade-in down at Jefferson Patterson Park. I did not wade in this year, but
I noticed.
I know, I didn't. I won't tell you. I'll tell you why in the executive session. But
Transparency.
That'll be an interesting topic. But I did go down to the shoreline, and it appeared that you all didn't get very
No,
far in the water.
It's not a good day for a wade.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was really murky.
But it's been stirred up, though.
Yeah.
That system that came through, it's been, tides were high and things were pretty stirred up.
And last night, I was a speaker at the Republican Men's Club meeting, and was happy to see how well attended that was. And it was a good meeting, good speech, and I enjoyed it.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Hart?
So I was at Patuxent High's graduation, and, you know, you can't help to watch, you know, the families and all. It didn't seem like it was that long ago. My daughter, which wasn't, and now my son will start there next year. And it's just awesome watching the kids high-fiving each other, and, you know, everything from athletes to people in the yards to everything. I mean, the whole school just seems to come together. And the speech from Dr. Townsend, I thought it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I made my son watch it and have to listen to it. So imagine dragging a 14-year-old, and I'm like, I want you to listen to this. So then the next day I'm quizzing him, and I'm like, you know, you're going to have to watch it again. You know, and I'm getting that face. I'm like, I want to, you know, talk to me, you know, raise the line, meet the line. See, you know, it's a phenomenal speech. And part of it talked about the Millennium Towers. And I had to go back and watch the thing on 60 Minutes. He had referenced where they had built this incredible building, if anybody hadn't seen this or knew about this. But I guess the best building in San Francisco or whatever, Joe Montana lives there and everything. But they only went down, and I don't want to misquote it, only went down like 800 feet. And it was on sand, and now the building is shifting and sinking. And if they had gone all the way down 2,000 feet to bedrock, it would have been fine. And basically the moral of the story is, if they'd have done it right the first time. How many times did you hear that from your parents when you were a kid? You know, don't do it halfway, do it right. And to reference that and bring that up, and so I had to go back and watch it, and it's so true. And I keep telling my son is one of these people that he spoke about. My son can sit back, and all of a sudden midterms kind of dropping, I holler at him, and he finishes on the honor roll. You know, and I'm like, you know, that's not going to fly in the real world. You know, the real world, you're not going to be able to show up to work and do it halfway and make it up at the end. So I love that message, and he has a very good way of talking to where the kids hearing. Where I never thought I would be so uncool that I didn't know what the kids were talking about. You know, they talk, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, so it was very nice to see. They were very engaged, I thought, in how he spoke, so.
You made him stand up
Yeah,
and listen to
yeah,
him. He did.
yeah.
No, he definitely
And
had
he
their
went
attention.
down on the floor with them and talked to them and, and, yeah, so I thought it was very good, so. That's it, Mr. President.
Excellent, thank you. I was busy last week on my knees praying for rain, so I didn't attend too many events, and I'm still on my knees. We only had a tent at my house yesterday, and
Nowhere near enough.
that's barely laid the dust. But if you haven't paid attention, we are in a significant drought, and so we do need some rain. I did attend the weigh-in on Sunday, and Congressman Hoyer was there as always, Commissioner Grasso, and Commissioner Collins from Charles County, President of the Board of Commissioners in Charles County, was also there, and they had a good crowd as always. It was not a good day for a wade-in. We had a southwest wind, and the river was churned up pretty good, so I don't know what the official measurement was, but once you got out and got up about a foot, that was about it. How much?
30.
Yeah, that's what
30
I thought I
inches?
read was 30 inches. And,
Oh, they cheated. There was no way it was 30 inches.
and by what they said the year
'cause-
before.
Brand new white shoes on.
Marty, I was reading your article. What was it, like 37 inches the year before or something, or 30? Okay.
It was just, it's not a look, it's not a scientific thing anyway. It's just an event to keep the focus on the river. But the Sunday was certainly not a good day for a wade. And I told them that day, I live on Battle Creek, or close to the creek, and go down there all the time. And I told them that if Senator Fowler was still here and they had done that wade-in January in Battle Creek, he'd had to change his underwear. Because this past winter, that creek was so clean, you could go to the end of the pier and see all the way to the bottom. I don't know why, but this past winter, that creek was extremely clean. It was amazing. But this past Sunday was not a good day to do a wade-in. But the attention needs to be from everybody. That river, it's a barometer of us. And that's what I said Sunday. We caused this problem and we have to fix it. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be fast. But we did it. And so we have to fix it. And I won't be around much longer. So it's up to the next generations. And that was the message that day from some of the speakers, that, it's our responsibility now to get the younger generations involved and make sure it continues, because you can lose sight pretty quick of what needs to be done. And, we get harassed about some of the decisions we make, but, that's what we're trying to do here, is protect the county that we live in, and that means the resources that we have. And people don't always like those decisions and those rules and regulations, but, when you look back on the things we did wrong, this is what we have to do to correct them. And the rain tax is a prime example. Nobody liked it, but it's important. So we have resources to make the changes that have to happen to fix the mess that we made.
Mr. President, I read that article where you said that, and I read it back to Carolyn, and it's true. It's self-inflicted. It really is, and maybe not just here, but up what's come down through, what's the Conowinga and all that stuff, but still, we haven't always done our part, and I was one that complained about that rain tax, and I had to say, when you called me out on it, when you're standing on top of something, sometimes you can't always see it. And I was like, that's so true, because when I forgot where we heard the report about Baltimore, how to this day it's leaking into the Inner Harbor and all that stuff, and it's a shame to see, just in my lifetime, I'm only 54, to see where the bay and the rivers and creeks have gone just from when I was a kid to now. On that pace, what will it be? Will it be one of these rivers you can't use anymore? I mean, and that's, focus needs to be, and I've had watermen say to me too, Mike, you just can't put down enough oysters. I mean, it.
You have to fill it up.
Yes.
In my comments on Sunday, I compared cleaning up the river to a diet, because it's so easy to put these pounds on, but it is extremely hard to take them off. And that's what this river is about. It was, we did what we did, and nobody paid attention, and now it's going to be extremely hard to fix it. And it's just a responsibility that we have. So, Want to congratulate all the graduates who graduated last week. Want to wish them well in their future endeavors. Also, today is the last day of school, so you're going to see a little difference in your neighborhoods. There might be kids out playing in the streets during the week now, so you got to be a little bit more aware. And want to wish them a very happy summer, especially the teachers and staff that work so hard during the year. Now they get a little break, and hope they have a very successful and pleasant summer. We'll remind everybody that this Saturday from 11 to 5 at Jefferson Patterson Park, there will be a Juneteenth celebration sponsored by the NAACP. And tonight at 7 o'clock at the Southern Community Center, we're going to hold a public hearing on the Ranch Club Special Tax District for anybody that may be interested in that.
Don't forget Sunday's Father's Day.
Sunday is Father's Day. Yeah, my grandkids are coming up. And I'm getting a new puppy on Friday.
Hey, I love it. I love it. What kind?
A yellow lab.
Very cool.
There is no other kind. Well, okay, Commissioner Ireland. There may be one other kind.
Hey, I'm telling you, I always had big dogs, and I didn't think I could get attached to a poodle, man. I'm telling you. I'm admitting it. I'm telling you. He was the first rescue dog. I've had Dobermans, Labs, everything. And this poodle owns me. I mean, owns me. I'm brushing my teeth, right? And he's standing there in the morning like, all right, we going downstairs? I mean, he waits. So then I start walking, and if I forget something, he stops, turns around, and looks at me like, what's going on? Wants to go in the car, go everywhere, and I'm telling you, is the toughest 12 pounds on the face of the earth. I mean, he thinks he is 100 feet tall. And I know. I mean, I kid you not. I was like, when Carolyn got him, I was like, poodle, huh? I mean, I'll admit it. But I have rubbed the fur off that dog in the last like 8 or 9 years. I'm telling you. And
no disrespect to the other animals out there, but dogs are the best.
I love
No,
dogs.
Vizslas are the best.
And
No, that beagle of mine, that thing. Oh my God! All he does is howl and talk, and that beagle's a piece of work. And
I'm sorry. I apologize for what I started.
Yeah.
But you never know what's going to say, Michael.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
There you go. Yeah. All right.
All right, that concludes my comments for today. You have a motion for me because we're going to have a public hearing tonight, so we're.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. President. I move we recess to executive session pursuant to general provisions, Article Section 3-305B, 1I, and B8 to consult with staff, consultants, and other individuals about pending or potential litigation, and to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of an appointee, employee, or official over whom the board has jurisdiction.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we recess into executive session. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, and I have to thank Deputy Administrator Vasallo for use of her glasses today, so I could read.
I thought they
all
matched
this
your
stuff,
eyes.
and so there's like poodles. There's no change in our lifestyle. Everybody have a great day.